Tensions escalate. The disturbing video emerging overnight as police in Buffalo shove a 75-year-old man to the ground. Violent clashes pop up. Tense moments after curfew in New York City. In Tampa, officers used pepper spray, pinning a woman down in broad daylight. The latest this morning.
Honoring George Floyd, crowds lining the streets of Minneapolis to show their support. Inside the church, the emotional memorial service, the powerful pause, 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence, symbolizing his final moments, and the tributes from his family and Reverend Al Sharpton.
This is the time. We won't stop.
This as alarming new details emerge about those other 3 officers on the scene and the key witness, George Floyd's longtime friend who was in that car with him. What he saw and heard during the fatal encounter, he speaks to GMA.
New fallout from the president's threat to order U.S. troops into America's streets. Military leaders joined former Defense Secretary James Mattis in denouncing the president. And the prominent Republican senator saying she may part ways with Trump.
Reopening reality check. COVID-19 cases rising in at least 16 states. California now urging protesters to quarantine for 2 weeks. And new concerns about college athletes returning to campus, at least a dozen testing positive. Also this morning, the new warning from the CDC.
Powerful message from football superstars asking, what will it take?
I am George Floyd.
I am Breonna Taylor.
I am Ahmaud Arbery.
After the fallout over Saints quarterback Drew Brees' comments, the superstar players banding together, demanding justice, the right to peacefully protest, and challenging the NFL to take a stronger stance against systemic racism.
We, National Football League, believe Black Lives Matter.
And the NBA is back. The players set to return to the court. We have a date. We have a place. The famous Disney castle getting a slam dunk NBA makeover as the teams get set to dribble into Disney World.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
And Good Morning America, great to be with you on this very busy Friday morning.
Yeah, busy day and an emotional day yesterday for the people of Minneapolis, really all over the country. But that city rallying around George Floyd's family during that powerful memorial service, the family giving the world a sense of the man who was taken from them, George.
And those 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence, so powerful, TJ. In the wake of that memorial service, most of the country's protests took on a more somber tone, largely peaceful. But an incident in Buffalo is raising more questions about excessive police force. 2 police officers caught on camera shoving an elderly protester into the ground. You see it right there. It is disturbing. Whit Johnson starts us off with the fallout. Good morning, Whit.
George, good morning to you. In these turbulent times, police officers across the country are being tested like never before. They are increasingly under the microscope, and we have seen uplifting moments with officers engaging with the protesters, even embracing them. But they are also being called out, accused of using excessive force in incidents often caught on camera.
Overnight, protesters across the country largely peaceful, but still there were clashes between police and demonstrators. In New York City, an officer seen nearly pulling one woman down and then pushing another against a car. In Tampa, officers pepper spraying a crowd as people shouted at the officers to get off of a woman they were trying to detain. And this morning, 2 cops in Buffalo, New York are under investigation after this disturbing video showing them shove a protester to the ground. That 75-year-old man suffering serious injuries, but the officer keeps walking as the man lies bleeding on the sidewalk. Another officer appears to radio for help. The man rushed to a hospital where he is in serious but stable condition. A city spokesperson initially said the man tripped and fell, but after the video surfaced, the police commissioner ordered an internal affairs investigation and the immediate suspension of the officers without pay. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo tweeting, "This incident is wholly unjustified and utterly disgraceful." Across the country, police departments grappling with a wave of complaints against officers amid the ongoing protests. In Seattle, where a young girl was pepper sprayed by officers, the city says it has received more than 14,000 complaints since the protests began. In Fort Lauderdale, Florida, this officer is suspended and under investigation for shoving a peaceful protester on Sunday.
You got your knee on my man's neck, man.
In Sarasota, Florida, an officer on administrative leave and an investigation underway after this video from May surfaced showing him kneeling on the neck of a black man. And in Atlanta, 6 cops were charged with using excessive force while arresting 2 college students during Saturday night protests.
Police here in New York are also being criticized for arresting a food delivery worker who is just out after curfew. Take a look at the video here that was seen on social media. You can even see his red insulated food bag taken away as the man is placed in handcuffs. In a tweet, Mayor de Blasio said, "This is not acceptable and must stop." TJ.
All right, Whit, thank you so much this morning. We'll turn now to what sparked all of what we're seeing in the streets, what happened to George Floyd. There was an emotional memorial service for him. This is the first of 3 that are planned around the country. This one in Minneapolis, the city where the 46-year-old was killed in police custody, and that incident has sparked so much of what we're seeing in the streets and the call for change. Our Lindsay Davis is in Minneapolis with more on the tributes from his family. Lindsay, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you, TJ. You know, this moment, as you know, it's extraordinary for so many reasons. But first, let's just think about anyone who's died in the last 3 months, no matter how large they were in life. They were limited to 10 mourners. And yet yesterday, you had hundreds of people inside the church, hundreds of people outside of the church filling these streets. And people told me that they felt that they just needed to be here. First, to honor the life of a man who, in many cases, they never met, but also to celebrate the possibility of change. Making a return to the roots of the civil rights movement, they march. More than 5,000 people strong across the Brooklyn Bridge with one of George Floyd's brothers. George Floyd! George Floyd! In Minneapolis, officers took a knee as the hearse carrying the 46-year-old's body arrived at his memorial service Thursday. Crowds lined the streets to show their support while Floyd's family paid their respects. His brother, Philinez, remembering their humble upbringing and a house full of children.
We did a lot of things together, from like talking with my mom, dancing with my mom, cooking with our mom. We made banana mayonnaise sandwiches together, you know. It was a family thing, you know.
Philinez described George as a charismatic man who had a way with words, a high school athlete, a father and brother who loved LeBron James.
Everywhere you go and see people, how they cling to him. They wanted to be around him. You know, George, he was like a general.
Reverend Al Sharpton eulogized Floyd with a parallel message about his experience and that of Black America.
What happened to Floyd happens every day in this country, in education, in health services, and in every area of American life. It's time for us to stand up in George's name and say, get your knee off our necks.
Sharpton brought mourners to their feet with this message to those in power in Washington.
This is the time. We won't stop. We're going to keep going until we change the whole system of justice.
And then this 8 minutes and 46 seconds of stillness, symbolizing Floyd's final moments. Outside at the site of Floyd's memorial, mourners listened to the service on speakers, applauding, uniting, hoping for change. And guys, violent storms swept through this area overnight, but members of this community, they took these tarps, they're giant tarps, several dozen of them, and they covered the flowers and signs to preserve this memorial. And this moment, it's inspiring people not only to show up and talk and march and protest, but also to donate. GoFundMe says that they have had a record number of individual donors, about 500,000 and counting, totaling about $13 million and growing. Amy?
All right, Lindsay Davis, thank you so much. Now to those alarming new details emerging about the other 3 officers on the scene with Derek Chauvin during George Floyd's last moments. Alex Perez joins us with the latest from Minneapolis on that part of the story. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Amy. Well, for the first time, we may be learning what the defense argument for these other officers involved in the case may be. Now, those other officers, To Tao, J. Alexander King, and Thomas Lane, all made their first appearance in court Thursday. They're each facing multiple charges, including aiding and abetting second-degree murder. Two of them in court, shifting blame to veteran officer Derek Chauvin, the one seen in that horrific video digging his knee into Floyd's neck. The attorneys for King and Lane telling the judge that they were both rookie officers when the incident occurred with George Floyd, both on the job full-time for only a handful of days. King's attorneys saying he told the other officer, quote, "You shouldn't do this." And Lane's attorney saying he asked Chauvin, "Shall we roll him over?" and that he performed CPR on Floyd in the ambulance. Now, Chauvin has not yet appeared in court, but those other three officers are being held on $1 million bail. George?
Okay, thanks, Alex. To Washington now, where there is new fallout from the president's threat to order U.S. troops into America's streets. A chorus of military leaders have joined former Defense Secretary James Mattis in denouncing the president, and there are new signs that at least one Republican senator is considering turning on Trump. Our senior national correspondent Terry Moran has the latest. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, George. This is a moment. It is an unprecedented moment of tension and even conflict between the military and the civilian commander-in-chief, President Trump. Defense Secretary Mark Esper, who was dragooned into that photo op, you may remember, that stroll to St. John's Church, has now openly opposed the president on whether U.S. military troops should be used to put down those protests. Former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, retired General Martin Dempsey, he's called Trump's threat to use troops to put down the protesters dangerous. America is not a battleground, he wrote. And then, as you say, in the searing message, retired Marine General and former Secretary of Defense under Trump, James Mattis, condemned the president in the strongest terms, describing him as a threat to the Constitution and writing, "Donald Trump is the first president in my lifetime who does not try to unite the American people, does not even pretend to try." That was a strong op-ed from James Mattis. And what we're seeing, George, is really the military rising to defend a tradition of being non-political, a tradition built up over generations that is cherished in the U.S. military, that is the envy of many countries in the world that don't have such a tradition. Their militaries are politicized. And what we're hearing is that high officers, Secretary of Defense Mark Esper, in a policy statement, says that this is just not the right way, that President Trump's way is a threat to that tradition. George?
And Terry, what we're also seeing is that most Republican senators were just not eager to address General Mattis' statements at all. But those comments from Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska were striking.
She has struck out a position of being a little bit of an independent in a Republican Party in lockstep with the president. She said that General Mattis' comments, quote, were true and honest and necessary and overdue. And when she was asked if she would support President Trump in the upcoming election, Senator Murkowski said, "I am struggling with it, and I have struggled with it for a long time." There are many on Capitol Hill who say in private Republicans are deeply concerned about this moment, about what it does to their reelection chances, but also what it means for the country. George?
Terry Moran, thanks very much. Amy?
All right, George, this morning, all eyes on those new, possibly historic unemployment numbers reflecting the impact of the pandemic and months of stay-at-home orders. Rebecca Jarvis joins us now with more on that. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning to you, Amy. And that's right. The country is bracing for what's expected to be the worst jobs report for this country since the pandemic began. An estimated 8 million Americans potentially lost their jobs last month, sending the unemployment rate to highs we haven't seen since the Great Depression, potentially as high as 20%. And now so many across the country are asking the same question. When does the rehiring begin? As many states are reopening, we have seen modest amounts of hiring in areas like restaurants, like construction and manufacturing. But according to Bank of America, when they look at the big picture, the 30 million Americans who have lost their jobs throughout this crisis, they estimate that only about half of those people will get those jobs back in the next 3 to 6 months, George.
Okay, Rebecca, thanks very much. And we are seeing in this coronavirus emergency some new cases. At least 16 states have reported increases. And in the last 24 hours across the U.S., more than 21,000 new cases, 1,000 new deaths. Matt Gutman is tracking it all. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. Just in the past couple of days, California has registered 3,000 new cases, and public health officials that we've been speaking to here say they expect COVID to rise incrementally, but with people out and about and protesting daily in public spaces like this, they fear it won't just rise, it'll explode.
With packed protests expected to continue this weekend, that dire warning about COVID-19. The CDC predicting the death toll could hit 143,000 by the end of the month. The CDC director concerned about a lack of social distancing and masks.
Obviously, we're very concerned that our public health message isn't resonating. We continue to try to figure out how to penetrate the message with different groups.
The Los Angeles Health Department now asking protesters to quarantine themselves for 14 days after a protest. We spent every day this week in crowds who say their cause goes beyond COVID.
George Floyd survived COVID, and then he died by police brutality.
California, one of at least 16 states where the number of new cases is increasing. Arkansas and Alabama also seeing a spike, and now reports this morning that up to 5 Crimson Tide football players and 7 student athletes at Arkansas State have tested positive for COVID as they return to campus for training. In Utah, cases have doubled since early May, and contact tracers there now linking outbreaks to Mother's Day and Memorial Day celebrations. And in Arizona, where clinicians are warning against quarantine fatigue, they're now seeing a spike in cases and hospitalizations 2 weeks after reopening.
Really within the entire country, of some fatigue from people who are tired of, being at home, tired of having a small circle of individuals with whom they interface, and frankly, tired of, doing the things that we know help reduce the spread.
Nor is COVID contained elsewhere around the globe. New concern in Mexico and Brazil, both seeing record daily death tolls.
And as we near 7 million global cases, a little bit of good news out of your neck of the woods. For the first time since March, New York reporting no COVID deaths. TJ.
Goodman, thank you for wrapping on some good news. We could use some. Thank you so much. And let's turn to some more good news. Sports coming back. The return of basketball. NBA is bouncing back. The NBA is making a rebound. Whatever you want to write in here, Robot. But they have approved the plan now to get back on the court. 22 of the 30 teams are set to play on July 31st, folks. They will have an abbreviated 8-game season and then get right into the playoffs. It's all happening at the happiest place, and we could all find a happy place on earth right now, couldn't we? This is happening at Disney World down in Orlando, but I think a lot of people, it'd be nice to see a live sporting event. There's a lot going on these days.
Yeah, there are. There's nice to have a distraction, right, at this point. All right, we're following a lot of other headlines this morning, including the man in the car with George Floyd when he was stopped by police, what he says happened in the moments before George Floyd was killed.
Also this morning, theme parks reopening with new safety protocols to help keep people safe. We're live inside the first Six Flags to open its gates. But first, let's get back to Ginger.
Yes, and Cristobal, our eyes are there on the Yucatan Peninsula, drenching Mexico. It will reinvigorate. It'll strengthen and stimulate by the Gulf waters. So tonight, it should become a storm again, make landfall sometime Sunday night into Monday. But please don't just look at this cone. The impacts will be displaced. The storm surge, the wind, and certainly the rain all the way through Florida, Mobile, Gulfport. That push of water going to impact you too. We anticipate seeing some sort of watches put up today. Flood watches are up already right there through South Florida. All right, let's get a check now with your weekend forecast and Caesar's Rewards.
Things have been a little quiet around here. We've missed the fun. We've missed the excitement. We've missed the entertainment. We've missed the nightlife. But most of all, we've missed you. We're getting ready. Caesar's Rewards. We can't wait to welcome you back.
By noon. Then we're on weather alert for the afternoon. 4 to 11 p.m. could see some thunderstorms moving through the area. They could pack a punch. Not quite the coverage, though, as yesterday, but an isolated severe thunderstorm or two for today. The weekend feeling better. Sunday, low humidity, the high 80 degrees, but still maybe a shower or a storm moving through on Saturday. Your high temperature, 90 degrees. That's the way it's looking now. Easy getting into the early part of next week.
We'll be right back.
Once weekly Ozempic is helping many people with type 2 diabetes like James lower their blood sugar. A majority of adults who took